Okay, everybody. This should be the last video for this week. So this should be everything you've got. This should be video 8. This should be the 6th part for the video notes. Okay, so last one. I know it's been a little bit longer than the last couple weeks, but I need to get through a little bit more of the material. Okay, so last one. Human impact on biodiversity. This is a topic we keep coming back to because it's super important to know how we are affecting the ecosystems around us. How are we affecting the natural forests and the natural grasslands and oceans around us? So we got 4 different ones we're going to talk about. Okay, we have human impacts on biodiversity. We have habitat destruction and fragmentation. We're going to talk about what those mean and how does it affect us. What are the issues surrounding that? We're going to talk about overexploitation and deforestation. What does that mean? And what are some issues surrounding that? Pollution. We've talked a little bit about that before. And then invasive species. I just wrapped up a little bit about that, but we're going to go hopefully a little bit more in depth as to what the issue of invasive species are. So moving right along, habitat destruction and fragmentation. Up at the top you see a picture or an aerial shot of some farmland. I'm not sure where this is, pretty, but it's some farmland. And then a little description of a diagram at the bottom we're going to talk about in just a second. But habitat destruction and fragmentation, it's basically just all caused because of human population growth. As humans expand and continue growing, we need more resources and more land. So we create farms and we create more farms and destroy more forests for that. And because of this habitat destruction and fragmentation, we are disturbing a lot of the ecosystem around us. So the issues around that, we decrease and destabilize habitat. If we look at the bottom here, this first one here is an undisturbed or an unfragmented habitat, and it provides for a lot of different things. It has an edge, so this edge habitat is all the forest around it, okay? And then the interior, they're going to have a different habitat, okay? So different species live on the edge versus the interior, okay? So think of this as like if you're driving on a road, okay? You're like a road in the forest. There's a little buffer between the road and the forest, right? And it's that little kind of median, usually like some grass or weeds. So not a whole lot of trees grow there. That's the edge, okay? And it's not always just no grass or it's all grass and no trees. Okay, the edge is within that habitat, the very edge, 5-ish, 10-ish meters into that area. It's going to be the edge. Okay, so whatever that habitat is, about 5-10 meters from all the other things, that's the edge. So the interior is a very small space compared to the edge. Okay, so when you fragment, like if we built a road right through the middle of a forest, okay, we built a road right in the middle, it's going to cut out, it's going to create a lot more of that edge, which is going to not support as many of the interior species as possible. Okay, so previously we were able to hold, it looks like bears in the middle here, but because we built that road, there's not enough space for the bears anymore. So now we have more edge, which will allow for more rabbits or beavers or deer, but it won't be able to hold the interior species as much as it used to. Okay, so it's going to decrease overall habitat because now we're losing habitat because we built that road or that farm or whatever, but it's also going to destabilize it because we're not going to have the interior like we did previously. Okay, it's also going to overall decrease species richness because again, we're not going to have this species, the bears, in here, okay, because we fragmented it. As we build more fragments, okay, we're going to have little pockets like this. These are farmlands. These are these little areas. This forest is probably not very big. Probably used to be very large. Looking at the whole area, it probably spanned around here. We had some forest down here. Before this was all agriculture. Now we broke it all up. There's probably not going to be bears living there, or deer for that matter. Okay, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of things that can live in that area. So it's going to decrease the amount of species that are going to be available to live in that area. Overexploitation, and deforestation. Okay. Again, this is caused by human population growth. So the more we expand, the more resources and land we need. So up here, this is overfishing. So overharvesting and overfishing are going to be part of this. The overexploitation kind of just is an overarching term for all of it. But overfishing means we're taking more fish than the ocean can create. So we're taking more fish than can be replaced. Big problem, especially within these ocean ecosystems. For a long time, we thought that the oceans were bountiful and we could never run out of fish ever. So we could take as much as we want and waste as much as we want. Obviously, we've come to realize that that is not the case. We can overharvest, and it's a very real possibility. So we've developed different things to counteract these issues. And for this bottom picture, this is for deforestation. This is a picture of Brisbane, which is a city in Australia, and this is a suburb in that area that is expanding. So it starts up here in the left corner as a forest with just some houses spread out around. But over time, as the suburb increases, it's going to get rid of that forest and build more of these areas, which will then destroy more forest, creating just deforested areas. Now we've just got a big concrete pad and what used to be a forest. So the issues we have: decreased habitat. Obviously, as you see, it's destroying this forest. It's taking away that forest, which is now completely changed compared to what it used to be, or what it could have been. Okay. It also can lead to extinction. As we decrease habitat, the animals there can't live there. They gotta find some other place to live, or they die. As we overharvest, we're taking too much, and they're not being able to replace themselves. It could lead to extinction. So, this overexploitation, this deforestation, huge issue when it comes to sustainability over the long haul. Pollution is a big one, especially right now. Okay, caused by the mismanagement of waste and development. So as we increase, as we grow our civilization, we have decided that sometimes it's best to just leave trash everywhere, or not to properly dispose of waste. Because of that, it's choking our ecosystem. And through more development, we've destroyed our atmosphere. This is a photo taken in India. I forget what arch this was, but I think it was I can't remember what war that was for. I think it might have been World War II or World War I, one of the world wars, but it was to signify that. But this is a popular area. They are taken, I think, 2 months apart from each other. So due to the coronavirus being quarantined, it has increased air quality, and now you can see blue sky, and there's trees over here, and there's probably more trees over there. There's this arch. You can't even see this arch through there during the normal times. So hopefully we can see the blue sky and say, oh, well, kind of want to see this more often, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, pollution. Some of the issues with pollution, it's incurable. We can't solve it once it's there. It's really only preventable. And the reason because of that is, when we pour oil into the water, okay, we can remove a lot of it, but there's still always going to be a tiny, tiny amount. Same thing with plastics. We put plastics in there, there's still going to be microplastics there. There's going to be tiny, tiny amounts of plastic. We can never get rid of 100% of it. Okay? So this has come up with this is why a popular phrase within pollution control circles are: the solution to pollution is dilution. Okay, and that phrase itself shows that it's not incurable. Okay, the solution to pollution is dilution, means if you're having a problem with pollution, you add more water to the situation, you dilute it. But diluting it does not get rid of the problem, it just makes it smaller. Never fully gets rid of it. So that's one of the issues with pollution. Another issue, it decreases environmental condition. We talk about that with carrying capacity. These ecosystems are not healthy. It's destroying these areas. Nothing's going to live on this beach. You're not going to be able to grow plants on this beach because it's too full of plastics. It's too full of waste. So you need to get rid of that before you start planting things there. Last one here is invasive species. These are up close shots of the tamarisk and the Russian olive, so you guys can become aware of what they look like, so you guys can know what they look like specifically. And the lionfish again. Caused by mismanagement. We placed these plants in areas where they exploded. They went crazy. They reproduced like nobody's business, and they just got out of hand. So the issues with these, they take over an environment. They're going to destroy the ecosystems because they're choking out native species, whether that be on the banks with plants, they're taking away all the water and taking away the available light and nutrients, or they're legitimately just eating all of the other fish in the area and destroying the ecosystem that way. Another problem with these is that they're hard to remove, mostly because they're expensive, but they're very difficult to remove too. One way I think is finding, or that I think is pretty interesting with the lionfish is changing of mindset to eat lionfish. They have poisonous barbs on their spines, but they can be removed pretty easily. So go out and have some lionfish sushi or lionfish roasts. That could be a good thing to get these guys removed. Changing that whole mindset can be a great way to remove this invasive species. So that was a little bit doom and gloom, and didn't want to end a video like that, but that's what I've got for you. So this whole video section is going to be pretty much linked to, I guess, talking about invasive species is going to be part of that as well. But you can talk within the field guide. That could be a great one if you're talking about invasive species or some of the issues involving some of these areas within the species research project. So if you have any questions for me, please let me know. These videos will be uploaded and with the documentation around everything as well. So I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.